本日はスマッシングマシーンのベニー・サフリー監督にお越しいただいております。ベニーさん、very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Welcome back to Japan.
I know. I'm glad to be here.
最強の裏側に隠された知られざる真実の物語。
Where can I get the t-shirt? It's great.
This t-shirt I actually made for the crew.
Oh,
It was Minor Planet, which is a company, you know, I think they work with Porter here in Japan. But he designed the shirt, and it was for the crew, everybody who worked on the movie. So I don't think this one's available, but I know this one's cool.
And then kanji on that.
Yes, and this says what? Again, it says...
It's like a top of the world?
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. It's funny that your brother Josh made a Marty's film also shot in Japan.
Yeah.
You came here first?
I came here first, yeah. So I shot the movie probably, I was done while he was shooting his movie. I was finished editing. So yeah, I was here probably a year before or so.
Right. Did you share some notes or experience about Japan to him, like do this or don't do this?
I think what was interesting is he worked with the same crew I worked with.
Really?
So I felt, I think I said they're well trained in the sense because there's a certain level of speed, you know, or move that you need to work with. So it was like I prepared them.
They got know-how from you.
Exactly, a little bit. So.
Right. So Smashing Machine, it's been a couple of months since I watched this film, and I'm still thinking about it.
Oh, amazing.
It's really type of movie, the growing you. It's really great. I feel like that this story is about losing. That the Mark was obsessed with winning, but from a certain point, I think he was struggling to become more human. And I'm wondering what you're trying to say for basically man that admitting defeat is not something to be ashamed of.
It's actually something to be proud of, and it's the only way you can grow as a human being. You know, if you don't admit to your own faults and you don't admit to your own losses, then you won't grow as an individual. And I think that specifically the thing I found so incredible about Mark's story was that after everything he had been through, he still was happy. He was at peace in life. And I thought that's a really incredible thing, because somebody in his position who at one point was the greatest and then now is not necessarily, is just kind of going through his own life. That's a beautiful thing, and that's something we should all be striving towards, that he could be at peace with himself. And I think that comes from his struggles with addiction and overcoming that. You have to kind of, the first rule, if you're an addict, is to admit you're an addict. And that's the hardest thing for anybody to say is, I am this. Because they always want to give a qualifier. It's only this time, maybe it's here. It's only really when I'm this. They never want to admit it. And the first step towards that is saying who you are and what it is that you have an issue with. And that's how you grow, and that's how you find inner peace. And so this movie is about a human being coming to understand themselves. Yes, it's about a fighter, but it's not a sports movie in that way. I wanted it to be a very honest movie, and I wanted it to be one that you find yourself going back to feelings that you felt in the movie. I wanted the fights between him and his girlfriend to be very realistic, and I wanted them to have the cadence of a real fight where one person thinks it's over, the other person comes back, and then they go here, and it's always like this until it explodes.
As a huge fan of your films, previous film Good Time and Uncut Gems, and now The Smashing Machine, I see this idea from those movies is that people end up being where you truly belong, or for better or worse, you deserve what you really deserve. I'm wondering if that has been something important to your storytelling.
I guess it's a moral part of me in a lot of ways. That I want them to be portrayed truthfully. I don't want them to achieve something that doesn't feel like it's earned. I want them to, if for better or worse, this is where they're going to end up. If they are meant to lose, they're going to lose. I'm not going to make them win because it's better. Because it doesn't, why is it better? Is it better because people are more excited leaving the theater? Maybe, but it's not how that person would have it. In this movie, You know, he goes through things because of his actions, and you can't change them. You know, the character dictates where it goes. So.
And one more question about the idea is that films have endings, but real life continues.
Exactly.
You know, the Law Pattinson, your character, and Adam Sandler had their own endings in the movie, but he is a real person.
Yeah.
He lives, you know.
Yeah.
It's there. When the movie and when the story captures only one part of the person's life, how do you think about the framing?
Yeah, I think that to me, that's the way you deal with that. Because if you try to capture somebody's entire life, I think that then sometimes you're beholden to everything that you're depicting. Whereas if you show a part of their life and you allow who they are, the essence of them to truly come through. But then that means you have to focus on performance. You have to focus on the details of what you're showing. You really have to dive in deep into that period to allow that to happen. And that's why the ending of the film, I think, is very important to me. When you see Mark in real life, because I wanted to show, he's okay. You know, his life, he's at peace with himself. And I also wanted to show that who we portrayed in the movie is the man himself. And it's actually the case, you know, because Dwayne did such an incredible job inhabiting him for all of his faults, all of his beauty, all of his humor, all of his strength. By focusing in on a period of time, it allows you to show the person. Because then you don't have to move so quickly. You know, you can take your time with them.
And okay, let's talk about the music.
Yeah, Nalas and Efro. I think the album just came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the record. It's amazing.
Yeah, you use a jazz drum beat.
Yeah.
And make me feel like it's very natural. Like it's almost live inside him. Like it's not something like the epic scoring that you might hear in a film like Loki, but it's really jazzy.
Yeah.
But in a way, at the same time, it might take away some tension or
for sure
contrast. So I'm wondering why did you?
I wanted the movie to hypnotize you. I wanted you to be, he's on drugs, you know, he's moving through the world kind of through a haze, but I also found there's an improvisation to mixed martial arts. You know, there is a sense of like movement, and for some reason while I was watching the fights, I saw jazz, and I saw that level of because you don't know what's going to happen. Nala is such an incredible artist in her own right, and she had never done a film score before. I remember I would speak to her as if she was an actor, telling her what the people were feeling, what they were going through, and then she would translate it into her music. And all of the incredible performers on Nubia, I think Garcia is an amazing, she plays saxophone on the soundtrack, and she did an incredible job. I think that for me it was about the emotional subtitling of the movie. This is what the characters are feeling. This is what their lives feel like is represented in the movie, in the music of the movie. And sometimes it contrasts, you know. Sometimes you're seeing something really happy and you're hearing music that isn't. Or you're seeing something that's very exciting and it's not the same. And that's because that's what's going on. You know, I'm trying to tell you how to feel while seeing something.
Those guys improvising, is that also the reason that you didn't let the camera inside?
Yes, because I felt, again, I wanted to recreate reality to a level that I felt was insane. I wanted to feel like, how in the hell is that possible? Because it's not a documentary. I had to go back in time, and I wanted it to feel like the camera could turn in any direction and you would see real life. Just by the general nature of filmmaking, if I'm on the outside of the ring, somebody throws a punch, and I cut to in the ring, and I see the punch happen. Technically, the camera on the outside would have seen the camera in the ring. Just, again, I'm thinking about it from a point of view of real life. So just like right now, these cameras are all on one side. So if you were to cut to a shot from here, that camera would see this camera in real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So movies, that's how movies are made. Normally, is you do that and nobody questions it because it's a movie. So you would see shot, reverse shot, and I'd be looking at you, and you wouldn't see the camera behind me. It's just how it happens. You edit it that way. I wanted to try to play with that and say, okay, how could I capture this without seeing it? What are the things I would have to do? So if I wanted a close-up of your paper, for example, in the movie, I would tell Maseo, start here, run around, get the close-up, and then come back. And then I would edit the scene in a way that would go from you to me to then the close-up. And I would always think about the placement of the cameras in response. And that was simply by staying outside of the ring, I felt it's going to feel more real. I have nothing, I'm not using any tricks. I'm in a wide right now, and you're seeing somebody get punched in the face and fall down. And yes, I'm placing them, and it was heavily choreographed. It was harder to do it this way than it would have been the other way. And yet it comes across as if, oh, that's just how it happened, hopefully, you know?
So you wanted to recreate.
Yes.
And speaking that, the Pride was really popular in Japan.
Yeah.
It's very familiar and deeply nostalgic. And I grew up watching those fights.
Yeah.
I really appreciate how you portray Japan so like authentically.
Thank you.
And then also I heard some Japanese hit song. It was subtitled, but feels so home and feels so nostalgic.
Yeah.
I really loved them.
Oh, thank you.
So was there anything that you especially pay close attention and what thing you're really excited for Japanese audience to notice?
Well, I think just in general, the care that we put into recreating the Pride Ring, the back rooms, the textures, the patterns, you know, the Pocari sweat, you know, all of these things were important. And I paid a lot of attention to that. The way the stands with the TVs were on, that James Chinlin, the production designer, the chairs, the color of the chairs, we wanted it to feel very real and authentic. So specifically also with the interviews that were in the movie, all of the people who were in the background or doing the interviews, they were Japanese.
Yes.
I didn't want somebody who spoke perfect English to come in and pretend to not speak English, because I thought that's fake. So I found people who spoke English as a second language. I brought them in and we worked together, and I would show them the script and I would say, please translate this into Japanese, so that then they would translate it into Japanese for themselves. And I'll say, now say it to me in English as you would translate it, not how I said it. So the words changed because I wanted it to come from them. And so the translation that they made is what's in the film. And I wanted it to be very real, and I wanted it to be very respectful. If there was a difficulty in understanding one another, it came from both sides. It wasn't just Dwayne not understanding the interviewer, it was the interviewer not understanding him being clear enough. You're not telling me, I'm asking you. As a human being, you know, he keeps pushing him to explain himself. And so there is just, it goes both ways, you know, because it's two people who don't speak the same language trying to communicate, you know.
You could use me as an interviewer.
Yes, yes. That would have been great.
Okay, so I think the audience inevitably start watching this film as Dwayne Johnson playing Mark Carr.
Yeah.
But from a directing standpoint, what was the key to shifting the perspective so that we stop seeing Dwayne and start seeing Mark himself?
Well, a lot of that was the prosthetics that Kazu. You know, he did an incredible job. We worked together because if you look right here, you could see this is Dwayne. But we have a different nose, brow, and he has the cauliflower ear, and we covered his tattoos. And it's so perfect. Like, I can't even believe the detail at which, and the subtlety at which he was able to achieve this. And also he's going through a lot, fighting, hitting, and it stayed on, you know? And it was important to me that Dwayne could disappear. And I think for him, he really felt comfortable behind all of the prosthetics in a way that allowed him to be free to express and explore new emotions, to cry, to feel sad, to laugh, to tell jokes, you know. He became a different person, you know. An actor who I love said something very interesting about Dwayne. It was Bradley Cooper, you know, amazing. I did a conversation with him. He said, it was as if he breathed differently. And I said, that's exactly right. Because he carried himself in a different way. He was a different person. And yet, he was using himself as the guiding light for that, which is what makes for the most incredible performances.
Wow. Mark and Don's relationship, it's really complicated.
Yeah.
It contains so many things like love and codependency.
Yeah.
Sadness and anger. Did you see the relationship as a broken love story or as something that falls apart precisely because the love between them was real? What was it?
I think it's a little bit of both, I think there's the Bob Dylan song, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, where sometimes it doesn't work out. Two people are not meant to be together, and I think with them, it's a broken love story in that you want them to just understand one another. Can't you just communicate what it is you're feeling more clearly so that she can understand where she's coming from and help you? And then also, when he's struggling, can't you put yourself aside and allow him to benefit? It's a 50-50 game here, it's not one person's fault. And that was very important to me to show. And I think that the broken aspect of it is what makes it feel so real, because I can't tell you how many people have said the arguments that have happened in that movie are too realistic. It's scary how that is. It's because arguments are messy. They may start because of a very small thing, but that small thing then amplifies itself into a much deeper thing. At one point she looks at him and says, you don't know a damn thing about me. And she's realizing, wow, we've been in this relationship for this amount of time and you don't even know who I am? That's a really dark, deep thing to understand. And it comes from him not telling her something. And it's because in relationships, you hide things, you push things aside. If you don't talk about things, it's going to fall apart,
But it happens.
Yes, of course it happens, yeah. And sometimes I think it's important to show those things because for me, it's helpful for me, to see that represented, because then it's like, oh, I'm not alone here, Maybe seeing that will make me speak up a little bit in the future. Maybe I'll apologize a little bit more and admit that I made a mistake. Not, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. That's saying, I'm sorry you felt that way about how I'm acting. That means it's on you. No, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. And that's it, If you see somebody do that, maybe you can model that.
I heard that you use some non-professional actors.
Almost everybody outside of Dwayne and Emily,
Really?
yes.
So I heard the doctor
Yes.
stages his work.
He's a real doctor.
A real doctor?
He's a thoracic surgeon.
How did you find him?
I love him. My stepfather was sick, and he was his doctor who was operating on him to take out a cancerous thing. And he had such a good bedside manner, so caring, and his voice and his face, that I said, will you be in the movie? And I also knew that he was a boxer at one point. So he knew that, so there were a lot of things. I just really liked him, and I liked how he dealt with my stepfather, and I thought he needs to be the person in this film.
Wait, so you mean you brought him to Japan?
Yes. No, actually, a lot of the Pride was shot in Vancouver. We had to recreate a lot of it.
So that sequence was shot
in Vancouver. Yeah, that sequence was, but I brought him there because, and a lot of it was because in the shot you see him stitching, and I knew it's Dwayne. I don't want to have a real needle on Dwayne Johnson, so I said to him, I'm going to get the best surgeon to play the part, because he's moving and he's stitching him and speaking, and he's talking, and the way that movement happens can only be done by a surgeon, somebody who knows what they're doing. You can't fake those kind of moves. It's almost like a ballet. And he had a special prosthetic there, Dwayne, where he had, on top of it, he had the cut, but underneath it, he had an impenetrable piece of plastic so that he couldn't get poked by it. But it meant it was even harder. It took him 5 hours to get that prosthetic off. But then he could sit there, and it actually could be sewn together like real skin. Yeah.
In this film, Mark buys a pottery in Japan. Did you find any personal favorite object or item while you're in Japan?
Oh, I did. I was at a flea market and there were these little cups that were very childlike and beautiful and painted very nicely, and I had to get them just because I could feel the person who made them in them, and I thought I needed to have those.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What was his reaction when you told him that you want to use him in the end of the film, and what was the idea behind that decision that let's shoot you in a supermarket?
Yeah. And it's funny, that's the only scene in IMAX. I shot it in 65 millimeter, and it's the most normal, you know. It's him in nature, in real life, because IMAX was originally designed for nature documentaries. So I felt, here we found the real guy. There he is, 20 years later, you know, 25 years later, he's in the flesh. And I wanted it to feel like we found him. And that's why he notices you, you know, in the audience. And I think that he was shocked because he didn't think he would be in it at all. But I explained to him why it was very important for me to see him just as a person, you know, and I think it shows a lot about him too, because most people would be like, oh, well, I need to be on some big mountain, you know, showing how amazing I am. I was this champion. Show me with all my trophies. And Mark knew what I was trying to do with the movie. And he understood that seeing him in a supermarket was the trophy. You know, the fact that after everything, he was okay, you know.
It's great. I really like it.
This was great.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you as well. Okay. Great.